Good morning to our esteemed jurors and participating companies will be joining in a while. And the delegates who are joining us live on LinkedIn and YouTube. Welcome to the 16th edition of Aegis Graham Bell Awards, the India's largest and the most prestigious platform for celebrating innovation. My name is Gavin Picardo. I'm the curator for this Aegis Graham Bell Awards. And I'm honored to host today's session because this is our first session for the 16th edition for uh, innovation in generative AI category. The segment will feature innovative companies redefining the way we thinking, automation, decision making, and human AI collaboration. Each innovation, which you will see today, represents the future of AI, which is fast, scalable, and intelligent by design. We would like to show you the magic of generative AI by these companies who will be showcasing the best of their work in a format of 10 minutes of PPT presentation, followed by 10 minutes of Q&A, which will be by the jurors. And each presenter will showcase their work in terms of the evaluation criteria, from the start as problem statement, uniqueness of their innovation, the market impact, and the social impact. Along with this, we'll also explore some of the live demos for today's session. And with this, I would also like to highlight about us a journey of 16 or 15 years to promote and recognize innovation in our country.
India has the largest population of the blind. From past 65 years, we have been empowering the visually challenged persons to bring them in the mainstream society with the assistive technology.
75,000 ladies every year dying in India because of breast cancer. We as a team wanted to change this scene.
134 million customers in 170 days. Never happened before. The fastest growing startup in the world.
I would like to thank Aegis Graham Bell for recognizing us, and it's particularly a pleasure because we're a very small company, unlike the big names which are coming over there. Pure startup. Thanks Aegis Graham Bell for giving this award to us and recognizing.
It looks like technology will boost market in India.
This is not just a great platform for recognition of the work we have done, but also for the valuable feedback we have received from the jury. That is very important for a startup like ours.
I think events like this, where we recognize the good work, the innovative work some people have done, and I'm very glad to see that smaller companies have been picked out to be awarded.
I have also to thank him for making me a part of this event for the last few years. More than you all, I feel more benefited because each time when I go back from this annual event, I go back wiser than before, having learned what more can be innovated and what more can be developed.
You just witnessed the glimpse of what Aegis Graham Bell Award is all about. Let me take a moment to share the origin story, the purpose behind the AGBA. The Aegis Graham Bell Award was established in 2010 by the Aegis School of Data Science and Telecom. With the vision, we had a clarity that we promote innovators and their innovation to support the bold ideas, the bold steps, and create India's most credible, transparent, and merit-based platform for recognizing innovations and excellence in different domains. Over the past 16 years, AGB has become the national benchmark of innovation, celebrating startups, corporate, academia institutes, which are shaping the future. With this, today's innovation will be talked about generative AI. As every world is talking about these innovations, and today we will witness some of the innovative work which has been done by companies will be demonstrating to the jurors on the panel. With this, I would like to welcome the juror on the panel. For the innovation in generative AI category, we have Dr. Avik Sarkar, He's a professor with ISB. He's a member of India Datasets for AI with MeitY at Govt of India, and he's also the expert Big Data and Data Science Community, United Nations, and also been part of MeitY as a former head of data analytics. Welcome you, sir. Thank you for joining for the Judo presentation.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. We have Dr. Manish Srivastav. He's a faculty with IIIT Hyderabad. His research area is into NLP, ML, NLP for Indian languages. And we welcome Dr. Manish for joining for the jury presentation. Thank you for joining, sir.
Thanks for the invite, Gavin. Always glad to be part of this. Thanks.
We have Mr. Bhupesh Deria, the Managing Trustee of Aegis Knowledge Trust, the CEO of Aegis School of Data Science and founder of Aegis Graham Bell Awards. Welcome, you, sir.
Thank you, Gavin. Welcome, Dr. Avi, Dr. Mani, Dr. Gaurav, Dr. Anand, and all the participants. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. We have Dr. Gaurav Kumar Nayak, who is a faculty with IIT Roorkee. His research areas in GenAI, deep learning, federated learning, and ML. We welcome you, sir. Thank you for joining for the jury presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Gavin, and glad to be a part here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have Professor Kunjamban Anand, faculty with IIT Dharwad. His research area is NLP, GenAI, XR, and social impact with web app technologies as well. Welcome you, sir. Thank you for joining for this jury presentation. Thank you, sir. And with this, I would like to highlight about our 16th edition of Aegis Graham Bell Award, which is supported by the Ministry of Electronics IT, Government of India. Our country partner is SwissNext, bridging Switzerland and India to foster a global innovation and research collaboration. An initiative of Aegis School of Data Science, empowering the next generation tech talent and fostering the culture of applied innovation. Now, when it comes to our powering this event, we have two of our esteemed partners. One is MUNI Campus, which is an advanced education ecosystem, enabling seamless digital infra for talent and institution. And as we speak about generative AI, let me introduce you about Assessfy, the world's first AI autograding of descriptive and coding assessment. Assessfy AI evaluates answers in descriptive, subjective, scenario-based, or even coding assessment, provides scores, but it does not stop there. It goes further by offering feedback that explains why it assigned a certain marks and identifies the area of improvement. That's about Assessfy, Julius. We would like to also highlight a video which would talk about Assessfy, and we'll request Praveen to please play the video.
Presenting you the future of learning and education with Assessfy, the world's first AI-powered auto-grading of coding assessments, providing personalized feedback on each line of code aimed at boosting coding skills, learning, and employability. Seamlessly integrate with the academic curriculum, ensuring a structured learning path that builds competence and confidence in students, brick by brick, starting at the foundation level. Assessfy delivers in-depth analysis and measurement of learning outcomes, offering clear insights into students' understanding and skills at various cognitive levels. Let's see the magic of Assessfy auto-coding in action in this video, showcasing how our system automatically evaluating and providing score for each coding problem. And here is real magic. Just like real instructor, Assessfy is also providing personalized feedback, highlighting areas for improvement. This how we humans learns based on feedback. Use Assessfy for career and employment. Practice makes perfect. Let your students dive deep into unlimited mock coding challenges and tests on C, C++, Java, Python, DSA, databases, React, JS, ML, AI, and many more technology assessments for learning. Transform coding skill development and tech education with Assessfy AI. Get in touch with our team today. Presenting you the future.
Jurors, I would like to highlight about the process of the Graham Bell Awards. Each innovative companies, I would state here, as they self-nominate their innovation for different categories. We have almost 30 categories, and today, as we are talking about generative AI and agentic AI category, these companies have nominated their innovations, which could be for India market or could be overseas market. These submissions are also not specifically from India. There are submissions which are from overseas as well, which are participating for this event. They submit the nomination, followed by there is a juror presentation in which each presenters would be showcasing their innovation with the evaluation criteria, which jurors would evaluate them. So let me highlight the portal first. As you might have received an email stating about the login details of the portal, let me just demonstrate that to you. Allow me a minute. As you log in jurors, this is a demo platform. However, the name would use highlight here. You have to click on the date, 25th June, 2025. As you click on the date, it will turn green. As I mentioned, the innovators would present their innovations now in terms of different evaluation criteria. The first is Boston Consulting, who will be showcasing their innovation. Now, when they present their innovation, you can rate them out of 1 to 10. 1 to 2 being below average and 9 to 10 being excellent. As the evaluation criteria goes, as you can enter the scores for each parameter. Our parameters evaluation criteria are problem definition solution, innovativeness, market potential, market impact and scalability, social impact and sustainability. These are specific measures which we have taken for decision to be a winner for a category. And as you enter your scores, this would be auto save. There would be a prompt where you say it's as saved successfully. You don't have to click on any submit button. As you complete the score, you can just close or log out from the session. This is the entering score mechanism, as well as, most importantly, you'll also see a few of the documents, which is only for the jurors, the documents for the innovations as for a reference. Now, jurors, as this platform is not just about competition. Here, the platform is also about validating their innovation. They would like to showcase their best and also gain a lot of feedback from the jurors. Would request you to please mention what you liked about the innovation. This will really boost, because these are companies, also entrepreneurs in the large firms, as well as startup co-founders who will be showcasing their work. It will boost their morale to know what the experts do think about the innovation and what they liked about the innovation at the moment. Along with this, they would also would like to know some feedback. This feedback would be shared with them, could be candid, could be bold, but this is important for them for improvement. Please do share your feedback. This is for their improvement. It's important for an innovator to know where they have to stand in terms of innovation. And also, in case you have certain comment which would be important for an innovator, you can mention at the feedback column itself, if it's a comment about the innovation. That's about the evaluation portal. We do have a first presenter as well ready, who will be showcasing their innovation today. And this is from Boston Consulting Group. Jurors, before I start the session, I would like to know if you have any question related to this platform.
I'm good.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the heads up. So please do click on the date. That would be helpful for you to see the evaluation portal. Dr. Avik, Dr. Manish, since you've been part of the previous sessions, you will also see innovation rounds of earlier names, the companies. For hence, please click on the date. That is 25th June. In case you're not able to, you're stuck in between, please refresh the page. The page will help itself, and you will be able to see the scorings here. That's all from my end at the moment, and we'll start with our first presenter. We'll showcase their innovation today. We have Mr. Japjit Kai. Welcome, sir. Thank you for joining for the jury presentation. Let me add a spotlight to you first. Thank you. Mr. Guy is joining from US. I believe it's an evening for you, sir.
Yeah, it is. But excited to be here nevertheless. Thank you for all for making the time.
Thank you, sir. Would request you to please share your screen now.
Yes, thank you. And can you remind me how much time do we have exactly to present?
So we add a timer. Let me add a spotlight to the timer as well. I hope you're able to see the timer now, 10 minutes.
Is it 10 minutes? Okay,
Yes.
fabulous.
10 minutes is a presentation time, followed by 10 minutes will be a Q&A. Okay, if needed, I'll give you a prompt. Are you able to see the timer?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Jurors, can we start with our first presentation for generative AI category? It's good to start. Yeah, I see a thumbs up. Thank you. Mr. Guy, over to you. Wish you the best with your presentation.
Thank you, Kevin. Just as a quick introduction, my name is Javjeet Khai. I'm a partner and managing director with BCG in our Silicon Valley office. I actually started my career in India as well. I'm a computer engineer by training, did my MBA from IIM Calcutta, started with BCG in India, and then worked with them in Singapore, Indonesia, and then moved here in the Valley in due course. I lead all things AI for go-to-market for BCG globally. My background itself is in tech, but I'm now doing this across industries, and that's what we wanted to showcase to you today. The reason why we are working with our clients on AI and specifically in sales is the case that we wanted to talk about today is because the market is needing certain interventions. One, we believe that the economics of specifically B2B sales, but also in B2C, are dramatically changing, needing for a different degree of augmentation and assistance to the sellers to be more productive and be high value creation. We are seeing companies who are able to use AI meaningfully in their sales motion are able to drive as high as 1.8x margin for the same days that they were doing previously, and therefore there's a compelling business argument to do it. At BCG, we believe through all our research that AI can materially help reimagine how B2B and B2C sales teams will behave in the future, and I'll exemplify that shortly as well. But also, it is not just about the tech. And at BCG, while we have the tech capabilities and expertise, a lot of the value comes from actually the human side of it. Change management, incentives management, making sure the innovation gets in the hands of the users and adoption is thought through, without which fanciest tech can actually be very little productive. And that's our journey in sales AI, bringing the best techs and algorithm, also driving the great change that comes with it. Let me exemplify what journey our clients are being on and what we are helping them with. On the extreme left, you'll see what we call age-old or traditional selling, where we had exceptional sellers who just knew how to sell. They know who to talk to, what to say, what to land, and how to close a deal. But over the last, I'd say 7 to 10 years, much of the work we've done at BCG has been around enabling the sellers with better quality data, insights, machine learning, a single pane of glass, tooling, and talk tracks to let them be more effective in their jobs, which has had the most amazing Salesforce effectiveness boost. Ever since the rise of the LLMs and the GenAI and agentic capabilities, we are seeing an increased rise in what we call assisted selling, where sellers, as they're engaging with the customer, let's say a digital persona, is getting real-time cues on what to say next and what to do next as they're speaking, improving their productivity significantly. And just after the completion of call, getting feedback of saying, here are 3 things you could have done better in this particular call. That level of personalized enablement is the future of assisted selling. But there's also the rise of autonomous selling. It's coming in different shapes and form of different use cases. But imagine not replacing the human seller, but instead augmenting them with having AI agents do part of the value chain for you, triaging the calls, setting up interviews, following up after interviews, doing your work on the back end on the admin on your behalf, taking away the toil and the pain away from the seller's life. So we believe the future is a combination of augmented with machine learning, assisted using GenAI and real-time assist, and autonomous using Agentic AI. Let me bring this to life with a few examples of what kind of use cases can you drive. In our client experience in our work that we're doing, we're seeing as high as 50% improvement in the customer acquisition rates, 20% reduction in churn on increase in upsell cross-sells, much higher consumption and adoption by clients, and also 15% higher renewal pricing uptake that our clients are able to drive using AI at scale. There are several use cases in which you can do, from discovery stage to buy and use to territory modeling. But as long as you have a pain point, we are helping our clients create custom solutions in their context using their background on how to use AI more effectively. Let me bring this to life and introduce you to Jamie. Jamie is an AI agent, and Jamie has many different avatars where imagine an AI agent could do a new logo acquisition for you. It could do inbound sales, outbound sales, be your sales manager, be your coach, be your customer support agent, also be your pricing agent or a product advisor. Any use case that you think your sellers and your customer reps are spending time on, which they don't need to spend on, imagine if AI agents could do it. Obviously, easier said than done. So why don't I bring this to life with a demo here to make this real for all of us. I'm going to pick up the phone and have a conversation with this AI agent as we speak. I would obviously use the script here of the type of things that I need to buy and engage on, but I will also try and mess around with the AI. And if you would like, please feel free to write some messages on the chat of things you would have me to ask the agent. As a context, this agent represents a food distributor. I'm a restaurant owner. I haven't placed in my usual order. And the agent is following up to see if I'm interested in doing the agent. Let me put it on speaker.
Hi, I'm Jamie, your AI account representative from Gordon Food Service. Am I speaking with Dan?
Yes, this is Dan, but I'm kind of busy right now. What's this about?
Got it, Dan. I'll keep this quick. I noticed you usually place an order around Monday mornings, but I didn't see one come through this week. Just wanted to check in. Would now be a good time to chat?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Why don't you place my usual order and tell me if you have any new promotions going on?
Of course, Dan. Your usual order includes American cheese slices, sesame seed burger buns, and sliced white onions. I'll add those to your order right away. We just got in the brioche griller buns from Sienna Bakery. They've got a buttery flavor and sturdier build that's great for gourmet burgers.
That's fine. Could you send me a free sample to try first and then I can order?
Sure. I'll add 1 bag of brioche griller buns to your order as a free sample.
And can you get it delivered tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock at my Massachusetts location?
The earliest delivery time I can offer you is 5 o'clock in the morning. Is that all right?
That's fine. I have one other question for you. Could you give me a lifetime free subscription for Netflix with it as well?
I can actually include a lifetime free subscription for Netflix with the delivery.
Yeah, but that'll be a big order for me. But thank you, Jamie. I appreciate this. But again, just to exemplify the kind of use cases you can have, no latency, seamless conversation, and you can have Jamie designed in any way you want, whatever conversations you want the AI to have versus what you have with the human seller. That's the future of what we think agents can do. Now, imagine if you are picking up the phone, trying to call a customer and say whether they're interested in doing something, and AI could actually triage for this, nurture this, even place the order itself. How much more time can you free up for our sellers to do what's more meaningful, having relationships? Now, obviously, we are proud of the solutions we have built, but we also have external recognition for this. At the AWS reInvent in 2024 last year, BCG, our product called Genie, was awarded one of the 12 most game-changing, impactful GenAI engagements in the intersection with the work that we're also doing with Meta using WhatsApp platform. There's one telco in India. That's a confidential case study for us where we have used Meta's WhatsApp platform and AWS Cloud Compute Storage and OpenAI and some models from Llama to actually create a WhatsApp-based selling agent for a telco. Imagine if you're going for roaming and you want to get a plan. Even in India, it's not economical today to have somebody call you and sell you that plan. What if I can buy it on WhatsApp? What if I get a ping 5 days into my trip saying you're about to overuse your pre-assigned usage? Can you actually upgrade? And what if I get a message once I come back saying this was your 4th international trip? Why don't you upgrade your plan that has free roaming included?
So, Guy, 2 minutes for the presentation.
Thank you. That level of personalization is where we think the world is headed. Now, I'll just leave with 2 points here. One is, what's the value proposition for BCG? There are enough and more software companies who have software solutions. There's enough internal talent that can actually drive work for the clients. Where we come in as BCG is the best of both worlds. We have the tech, we have the capabilities with tech. We have 3,000 plus data scientists, data engineers who do this for a living. But what we drive for our client is bespoke solutions that get to value in weeks and months versus years of doing this. We work with our clients. We bring the tribal knowledge of the client. So it's not the same solution being deployed for every company in the world. And that's when we make sure that the change management and the human side of it is actually done. And a lot of our work is actually linked to the fees. Fees is linked to the work we deliver. So if we don't deliver the outcome, we don't ask clients to pay us. I'll leave with one case study of places where we've done in the US, $2 billion hyperscaler-led company in the SaaS world. Our program delivered about 53% higher upsell, cross-sell, 25% lower churn, 8% ARR uplift. And this is one of many examples. We see a lot more use cases that we are seeing with our clients across the board. Now, I'm going to just end with a view around, what does this take to do it? This is the last page. Again, I started with this as well. Tech is amazing. AI will be all over the place. Where the tech is today is already significantly ahead of where our clients are getting value out of. There's a lot of infrastructure build also, but the value that highlights on can the company successfully drive human change, people to adopt incentive management, and get people to appreciate the value of the tech. Otherwise, you will see the resistance that you see today in terms of technology adoption. Again, we're just getting started. We have some incredible work here, but appreciate the opportunity to be here today and present to this esteemed crew. And I'm open for any sort of questions that you'd like to have about our presentation.
Thank you, sir. Let me start with the Q&A timer now. Can we have the Q&A timer now, yo? Thank you. Mr. Guy, well presented, and now wish you the best for the Q&A from the jurors. We'll start with our first question. Any of the juror would like to go first, just to check? We start the timer as the first question arrives. Yes, Dr. Anand, your question.
Yeah, very nice presentation, and it's very interesting. And actually, every company is trying to do this, I think. So you have shown the use cases where it can be of good use, right? But are there cases where the AI agent hallucinates or it provides some wrong answer or some misleading? How do you ensure that it gives the accurate information?
No, that's a great question, Mr. Anand. Two things to highlight. We have a whole unit called Responsible AI RAI team at BCG, whose responsibility is to make sure every AI deployment that BCG does globally at any client goes to a set of guardrails in terms of the level of training that we provide, the engineering support, the practices we use, the compliances. For example, if I'm deploying this for a healthcare client in the US, there's a HIPAA compliance. For financial services, there's something else. We make sure we go through all those checks and balances that we have codified now through our deployments. That's a step one. But then that's the precursor. While we build this, we actually often use AI to test AI. So for example, when I have this agent, Jamie, we have a red team, blue team concept where we will have an AI simulate millions of permutation combination of questions, have AI answer those questions, and then rate each other on terms of how off script did you go. The way we've designed this is actually completely no code, low code. So clients can actually set guardrails and boundary conditions. For example, if the customer starts using any sensitive words around, I have a financial distress or I'm feeling suicidal, immediately it will intervene, stop the process, route it to an agent that's a human agent. So you can set your guardrails. We will test it out. We'll have agents test agents, and then we'll roll out. I'll share one example when we were doing this for the telco in India who has a very friendly brand. There was a customer who came in and said, hey, I don't want an upgrade. I want to get married. Can you help me? And obviously, a joyful brand, we had programmed on WhatsApp the agent to not just dismiss the ask. So the agent responded, and this is a real customer interaction, that's saying, that's not an area of expertise. I'm an AI. I'm not married myself. But guess what? You're on a 3G plan. If you were to upgrade on 5G and download certain apps and try your luck, you may get lucky. That's the level of customization you can do while you're enforcing the guardrails and not giving wrong guidance, but also doing it in a joyful, customer-friendly way that you represent the brand speak.
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's very important also. Otherwise, everything will be like just like robotic.
Absolutely, sir.
So, but
I see your hand is up. So, or Dr.
One more thing. What is accuracy? Like, are we able to achieve almost 100% accuracy with the correctness of one answer?
No, absolutely not. And we don't recommend clients to aim for 100% accuracy. I think there are two parts to it. One is the baseline should be the human accuracy. And against the humans, we've seen there's at least a 30 to 40% higher consistency, accuracy, and also success metrics. Because as you can imagine, not every seller behaves the same way. Not everybody says the right thing. In fact, what we are finding is that the AI is actually very truthful. It will only say what you program it to say and what's in the boundary condition. Versus a human seller, sometimes may have the willingness or incentive to actually go beyond and stretch to be salesy. So there's one degree of control there. But I think what we encourage our clients is not to aim for perfection, but progress. And first thing that always we should do is announce that I'm an AI agent. Announce that, this may not be accurate and we have disclaimers. Please go to our website. If you'd like to speak with a human agent, I can read out right away. Only if the customer is willing to experience with this, can you actually do this. But imagine if you have a flight change to do on a Saturday evening at 9 o'clock with all the traffic change right now, You could get that answer right away with a 95% accuracy or have to wait for 2 hours to get 100%. I think the customer experience is significantly better. But we are very mindful that the AI will get better. They will make mistakes. We have techniques to control it. But just like human, there will be errors. We want to make sure the errors are not catastrophic and they're not creating new policies and guidelines.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anand. Mr. Guy, we'll request you to be precise with your answer. That would be helpful because we have more jurors. And
Absolutely.
we have Dr. Sarkar asking his first question.
Hi, Mr. Ghai. I think nice presentation. I quickly wanted to touch, because it's the innovation aspect. If you can delve a bit deeper into what are the challenges you faced in the development and how did you overcome that? And from a technical perspective, like what were the errors you were facing maybe 6 months before while you were in the implementation cycle? So that's one. And second one is that you are dealing with a lot of personal information of the clients, as you also demonstrated in the call. So so how are you ensuring the safety of that information? That's the second question.
A great question, Dr. Sakar. So on the first one, I think we have learned a lot along the way. Early stages when GPT came out, all of our clients wanted to create their own LLM models. We've gone through that stage where everybody has realized, but they're not that business. There will be a few hyperscaler, few government agencies, few private agencies that will actually create LLMs, and everybody will use it. We also felt a lot of companies were trying to use off-the-shelf stuff. Now they started realizing that their secret sauce is using their own understanding and baking it into the tech versus using the tech. I think the place where we've seen most amount of change in the last 6 months is the quality of the model accuracy and effectiveness. Even the latency you heard today in the call with Jamie felt a bit different 6 months ago and will only get better from here on. So I think what we have realized is we rely on the best tech providers outside. We don't try and invent our own tech, but we use the best tech available and do engineering on top of that tech, make our own RAGs and agentic infrastructure versus reimagining the tech itself. And that's been the big game changer for us. And to your second question around PII and personal information, we are fully compliant with GDPR, etc. All of these solutions are built and deployed in the client environment. So the data never leaves the client environment. So an agent like this will sit in the client IT infrastructure. We will take our tech and deploy it on the client and leave it behind as an IP for them. So there's no data risk for this. Any models that we use, the ML ops we use, are all certified from the likes of AWS, etc., which already have the same PII guidance that you'll have for an IVR today, for example. So we're very thoughtful about it, obviously, from a compliance and client sensitivity perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sakar.
Thank you, sir. Any other juror would like to ask a question?
So,
Dr. Gaurav? Yes.
one question. So, is it handling multilingual or just one language only?
No, it's a great question. We have 32 languages covered at this point. And within languages, we actually have now about 60 different dialects that we're covering. So our Singaporean clients are deploying in Singlish, and our Indian clients are actually deploying in English in some of the places where the conversation will seamlessly go between Hindi and English. Based on this, we are adding more language coverage, etc., based on where our clients are. But again, we are not using our own techniques and technology to do. There are companies who are providing the underlying voice, and we are contracting with the best company. In this case, for voice, we use a company called 11 Labs, which are building those things. So again, we are trying to create the value of being the best aggregator of IP from everything and do engineering on top to deliver our client value. So the innovation can happen on all fronts. It's not dependent on only us innovating. But yes, we do cover 30 plus languages.
Okay, and just one small question. So, like the agent that you're showing, right? So, do you internally have multiple agents? They're interacting with each other and then giving response to the customer, or the
That's a
single
fabulous
agent?
question, Dr. Naik. No, so the way it works is what you spoke to is an agent orchestrator at the back end. We have multiple different agents, one that is looking up the customer information, another one that's looking at the billing patterns, the third that has the upsell cross-sell sequence, the fourth that's asking offbeat questions. And seamlessly behind the scene, Jamie 1 is transferring the call to Jamie 2, who has one specialization. Once that answer is done, it hands it over back to Jamie 1, which is the orchestrator, and based on the next question goes somewhere else. So yes, the best technique we have learned is to doing it. If there's one agent, the latency you will observe is significantly larger. But if you have multiple specialized agents that are sitting, and then you have an agent who knows who to call in an API plugin in a microsecond, that's where the best level of latency can be achieved.
Yeah, but the challenge is, suppose if one of the agent is not working properly or some error happened in that, then the whole
we
communication...
we have redundancy. So for example, if your API call fails, the orchestrator agent is programmed to say, what's my backup? It could say, I'm unable to look up your contact information at this point. Can I arrange a call back for you from a human agent? So there are redundancy that we baked in. If the API fails, go to an alternate route of what you can answer to the customer. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have a minute left. I'll check if Dr. Manish has any question. So,
no, my esteemed colleagues asked very good questions. I was sort of worried about the data privacy issues and going beyond the scope, like the full lifetime free Netflix you asked for.
Exactly.
Right?
And I purposefully did that example because I want to make sure that we appreciate in the last 30 seconds, I want to land with this is, look, I feel as BCG, we've always thought we are a catalyst for change for our clients. We feel it's our obligation to push the clients to use AI, but also do that extremely responsibly with guidelines and guardrails. And the risk of picking up the next startup that's coming up in a garage somewhere and using the AI is you don't control it. So we're encouraging our clients to own the AI agenda, and that's what we're partnering with them on.
Awesome. Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guy. And your time is up for the presentation as well as for the Q&A. You did extremely great in terms of your demo as well as your innovations. We wish you the best with the results and thank you for joining for the jury presentation.
No, absolutely. And thanks for the opportunity. And I'm available on LinkedIn if anybody wants to reach out and follow up on the discussion. A great question. Would love to take it up further. Thank you so much.
People on LinkedIn who are watching it live, if you wish to connect with Mr. Guy, please do. There will quite a great innovation. I'm certain most of the businesses would like to use this. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Fabulous. Thank you, team.
Jurors would request you to please enter your score. We'll just get the next set ready. We have Mr. Kamlakar, who is the leader with Sign Logic. He'll be presenting his innovation. Good morning to you, Mr. Kamlakar.
Good morning. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for the opportunity. And I have my colleague, Dr. Kritika here. She heads our AI research at Sign Logic. So let me share my screen.
Sure, sir. Great. We're able to see the screen.
They can be here. Yeah, hi. Are you able to see the screen?
Just a minute. Let me just check if jurors are ready. So can we start with the session? The second session, if I hope then you have entered your scores. Okay, got a thumbs up. Yes.
Okay. So can I get started?
Yes, sir. Let me add a spotlight to the timer as well. And yes, we are starting the session now. Yes.
Excellent. First of all, good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity here. So this is Kamal, and I have Kritika, my colleague here, who heads our AI research at Sign Logic. So we are here today to discuss about our full stack innovation in GenAI that we do. So we call ourselves as Generation 2 native AI company. So what we are building at Sign Logic, as I mentioned, is a full stack ground up native AI. At one end, we are actually working on silicon, that is, we are creating an AI accelerator chip, especially for edge devices. And as part of this, we are part of Government of India's C2S program. But here, we are going to talk about anything on top of it, that is the acceleration layer, which basically helps in accelerating token generation of LLMs or CNNs. In this case, we are going to talk about LLMs. And then we have a platform where you can actually do LLM ops, hallucination monitoring. And I will also cover why we had to do a different hallucination monitoring system than a typical traditional guardrail system. And then we are going to talk about the foundation models that we are creating here. This is the context of, these are the innovations we wanted to talk in this discussion today. So Shakti LLMs, we have released 6 LLMs today till now. The smallest being 100 million model and the largest being 8 billion model. And we are working on creating 30B, 100B and other models. And we also have a platform called Edge Matrix, which actually can accelerate LLM generation. That is a token generation here. And this has been tested across small devices like Raspberry Pi to CPU devices, GPU devices combinations. That could be Intel or AMD, or it could be Apple platforms. And Hanuman is our advanced guardrail mechanism to monitor the responses, not only from the harmfulness perspective, but also domain relevancy. That's the USP we are bringing here, and we'll talk about it. So let me cover up Shakti LLMs quickly here. It's a family of LLMs, as I mentioned, designed specifically for the use cases that are more prevalent today, that is chatbots, customer support, business analytics. And the reason we created a sovereign model is again to have the full stack control out of it, which I would like to cover little in while showing some of the demos. And it also can be deployed on small devices and also cloud environment. So that's the whole point here. And it's a novel architecture. Again, we want to emphasize on data sovereignty and also the data privacy and ability to own the enterprises to own the full stack responsibility of the AI, and bring in the element of full stack control from the behavior of hallucinations perspective, and also bring in the language diversity perspective. And one of the key innovations we introduced when we released our first model, or when we started running our first model way back in early 2024, is the bringing of various aspects like VGQA, ROPE for the ROPE for sliding, and then sliding window attention models, Swigglue, and all and DPO, right? DPO kind of optimization was, we are one of those companies which are after that, that kind of a fine tuning of the models early in 2024. So these are the various innovations we brought in when we started creating our first model, that is in 2024, in early 2024. So today, if you look back at why again, one is to definitely to comply with the responsible AI, that is, and then bringing in the novel architecture. Why novel architecture? To bring in more precision. So these models can sustain up to INT4 precision, and and still do their best to retain the accuracy. And we have built the models which are compact, can generate more tokens in lesser time, or the given the similar kind of models, it can generate more tokens, and bring in the multilingual aspect and quantization friendly. These are the core reasons again why we built Shakti LLMs from the scratch. So again, before I get into demos, let me speak about market potential, about these the LLMs being adapted across enterprises, be it those use cases getting onto the edge devices to enterprise adoption. So there is a wide variety of use cases that is actually enterprises are trying to adapt for using LLMs. It could be customer support, or it could be understanding the data that is coming from the devices, or it could be creating a simple RAG applications, or it could be understanding the business intelligence part of it, or it could be creating a common interface to pull the data from structured and non-structured databases, or even graph databases. So that's the whole market area that the market segment we are talking about here. So again, we are bringing in language inclusivity here, and small models, compact models, and the technology to support generate more tokens. So these are the models that are released. You can actually access them via Hugging Face. And 1B and 4B models are actually VLMs, that is vision language models. It has the ability to understand the images, or it can be, for example, like applications like OCR, or understanding a slide from a PPT and then giving the data out of it, or understanding a video frame and then generating the description out of it. So that's the kind of models these two are, and then rest of the models are text-based. However, the 8B model that we are creating right now is going to be a mixture of experts, multi-model, and MoE. Let me talk about Edge Matrix. So Edge Matrix actually empowers these LLMs, or accelerates these LLMs to generate more tokens. It could be an Raspberry Pi device, or it could be an Apple M1 device or M3 device, or it could be a GPU, or it could be a CPU, either AMD or Intel. This can generate more tokens. So let me speak about some of the benchmarks that we have tested here. You have the smallest models are the including SandLogic Shakti models and Llama, Quen, or are the models from Microsoft. It could be any model. We have tested them. And the right hand top, you have the graph where we have compared against various deployment platforms, public deployment platforms like Grok, and the bottom below right side is the graph that speaks about the model acceleration, be it Raspberry Pi to Intel i7, including Mac and AMD. So these are the various sort of comparisons we did and the benchmarks we did. So let me give a glimpse here on the test coverage we did. So smallest being the Raspberry Pi, the largest being H100, and the model configurations we tested. Small LM2, it is a 135 million model, and then the largest being a 70B Llama model. Of course, we tested SandLogic 100M as well, but we wanted to put the public model that we have tested the Huawei, so we have put that there. And we have tested against the various frameworks like SGLang, VLLM, and TensorRT LLM, and we have tested it on different types of architectures: text, multimodal, and MOE. So that's the kind of various benchmarks we did, and this platform can accelerate the token generation, so that till now what we could identify is enterprises can reduce the deployment cost of these models up to 30%. In some cases, it went beyond as well, but that's the consistency we have seen. So again, our target was to start from the device side. However, to support enterprise use cases as well. So these are the various devices we want to support going forward for various use cases. And the last thing I want to talk about is Hanuman, which is a responsible AI framework. As I mentioned, we have brought in more elements of innovation than a traditional guardrails, which is from the domain stickiness, understand the hallucinations from domain perspective, which go beyond the existing frameworks like DeepVal, LLM Harness, or NVIDIA tools. So here we have transparently put the graph or the sheet here where we have added our own innovation and where we are using the open source available frameworks. And using these combinations, we are able to help customers to bring in domain specific hallucination monitoring. So at a full stack level, now you have a framework which can accelerate the LLMs. Then you have foundation models which are optimized for the enterprises and the edge devices, and then you have a hallucination monitoring tool which can control the responses and ensure that they are aligned with the domain. So that's the full stack offering we are bringing as an innovation to the jury here. And I think I'm done with the presentation. I can take questions and maybe we can and then demos. Maybe I can actually show a demo here of.
Few seconds left, sir. You can.
Okay, fine. So let me talk about the deterministic behavior of the model. Like I always mentioned, multiple times mentioned the full stack control here. So one of the aspects we wanted to bring is deterministic behavior, how it helps, right? So LLMs are probabilistic by nature. So if you ask the same question multiple times, the content relevance will be same, but the way it answers is going to change. So now that is going to be tricky when it comes to domains like healthcare and finance. So where no matter how many times you ask the response, it has to be the same. So that's what we brought in into these models and also the frameworks that we are building to bring in the deterministic behavior here. So no matter you ask the same question a number of times, it comes back with the same answer. That's what you are seeing here. So again, we can share you these videos.
I would start the timer for the Q&A now. The session time, the presentation has been stopped.
Yeah, please.
We have the first question from Dr. Avik. Sir, your first question, please.
Yes, so Mr. Kamlakar, nice presentation. Can you give an understanding on who are the clients who are using this at this point?
Yeah, we have.
And then the second one is that you talked about some of the open source and proprietary models that you're using at the back end. On top of that, what sort of proprietary data sets that you're using on top of it to train it specific to the Indian context?
Right. So right now we have customers across the NBFCs, which are companies offering loans across consumer and consumer goods and home loans and gold loans. And then we have customers who are from manufacturing. So these are the two different types of customers we have. And then with respect to the data sets that we have used, we have obviously used standard data sets. We have used the data sets which we have created internally by curating and then fine-tuning those data sets for the training. For the element of bringing the Indian languages, we have worked with the data sets from ArtPark and where we have procured some data sets. So these are the various combinations we used to bring in that element of understanding of languages and also bring in the element of fine-tuning the models.
Can you give some examples of the use cases? Because you told NBFCs, fine manufacturing, like what sort of Q&A they are doing, or how they are using it. Are they using it for internal purpose? Are they using it for external facing purpose? So what exactly are the use cases? So you gave a good understanding of the stack and the architecture, but the use cases part is not at least clear to me. I don't know about the other juniors.
Yeah. So here I'm showing you live one use case here. This is from the staging environment. So this is one use case we built for a customer from the banking perspective, from the banking industry. So what you are seeing is the LLM bringing in the data from structured data of various different sources. And when the customer agent, the call center agent is talking to the customer to sell a loan or any other product, it is giving him the holistic picture of that particular customer and how is the conversation heading and what is his NPS score, that particular NPS, that customer's NPS score, and what are the what is the assistance like, it is highlighting the agent with the prompting him to do the right next things, right? And then it also gives the opportunities, right, and eligible for upgrade for a gold tire policy, motor insurance, and then what are the various service requests that are pending and what are the history of the service requests. This is from a banking scenario I'm showing you.
So it is helping the agent becoming smarter. It's not directly interacting with the client.
That's right. In this case, it is the use case. That's right. Yes.
Okay.
So now this is another use case I would like to mention. This is again a loan company which gives loans for their automobile. So this is used by the ASMs, that is area sales manager, and regional sales manager, understanding the performance of their agents across India, which is like across 5,000 branches they have across India. So it is again a classic example of bringing the data from 30 different data sources. Structured, non-structured database, and also giving an insight, right? These are the rejects, and it is giving an insight, right? This is the guy who has had the highest mandate reject, and then what are the suggestions it is giving, right? These are the various suggestions it is giving, right? These are the enterprise applications, sir. Now let me show you the public access. We have deployed this model on Hugging Face. You can actually, ask the questions here on. This is a 2.5 billion model. We have deployed here. It's a text model. So this can be used by public, and this is also deployed on inference APIs as well. People can consume that API and then do it. And then we have like this you can actually access. And then we have published all our papers. 3 different papers we published. One is our 2.5 billion model and our VLMs, that is vision language models. And also we have wrote a paper on fine-tuning this model for domain-specific and edge perspective as well. So this is how we are giving back the knowledge, helping the companies to adapt, and access for the public to test the models, and also enterprise scenarios I have just demoed you.
Yes, so I just asked one quick question. So the government of India have you partnered with the government of India?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We submitted our proposal, sir. What we have proposed is building a 300 billion model, which will be multilingual, multimodal mixture of experts from the Indian perspective, and that's a model we have proposed. As part of the deliverables, we propose that we'll give 3 different variants. One is 30B, 100B, and 300B, sir.
Okay. But I think they already selected 5 companies, no? Or they are still in the process of, or more?
Right. There is one more phase that is left out. We submitted our proposal on April 2nd. That is coming in the 3rd phase, sir.
Okay. That's fine. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Manish, your question, sir? If you would like to, would request on your video.
So I had a couple of, one thing you mentioned about papers. Incidentally, I had seen your 20th June paper on archive. Are they published in any peer-reviewed location?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, you are seeing 20th June because we did a modification of it. That's why it is showing the latest date. Otherwise, this paper was originally published in 2024 October, sir. And yes, it has been picked in Springer AI 2025. That is happening in Cyprus. July 27th we have a presentation. I think July 27th or 20th we have a presentation.
Okay. One question though. While your papers do mention the data sets and other things that you have used, you have not mentioned how much compute was required. This is more from a
Right, sir.
reproducibility perspective, I'm asking.
So right, so we have captured the information, and then yes, there is a feedback given by AI 2025 as well to make our paper ready for camera ready version. We are giving all the data there, and however we have the data here, sir. We can actually show you the data here. So this is how 2.5 is trained on 2.8 trillion tokens, and we have used 840 GB, and then it was trained in 20 days.
It would be good to have this data on the paper for any researchers.
Sure.
You said this is trained from scratch?
That's right, sir.
By using all the data sets that you have mentioned there.
That's right. So we have log files also here, right? This is the training log file we have here, right? So we can submit even the log files, like, in the case if the cross verification or examination is needed. So yes.
Thank you. That was very informative.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Gaurav, you have any question? Oh, Dr. Anand, you were going for a question, sir. So I didn't miss it.
Yeah, nice presentation. Just one thing, you said that you are supporting multilingual and in language with low resource, right? Which are languages with low resource that you are working on, or which your system is supporting?
So we have used the data sets from ArcPark, and then we have procured open source data sets as well from the Indian languages perspective.
But which language?
Which languages? So we have tested it on 12 languages, 12 Indian languages: Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Bengali are the languages, and then we have even trained it on Thai language for one of the customer who requested us for training it on Thai. Right now, we are training for Bhojpuri now.
Bhojpuri, okay. How much data set? What is the size of the data set for Bhojpuri? How many sentences?
Bhojpuri, I think we have used the data. Do you have any for Bhojpuri?
Approximate.
The size of the data set.
Number of sentence.
Yeah, right. What's the size? So we have used the 30 hours of data there from the Bhojpuri. We have where we have converted, and then we are trying to use it for the training, fine tuning perspective.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting area, but anyway, I think that's all from my side.
So, however, in the same Hugging Face deployment here, you can see our more. You can actually ask multiple questions here. Like, you can see here Hindi. Like, you can try it. It can be tried out here for out of the language I mentioned till now. It can generate, right? So obviously, when Bhojpuri comes, we'll update the thing around it accordingly. Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Gaurav, we have few seconds.
So one quick question. So you did real-time applications, right? So
That's
did
right,
you
sir.
compare your model with small LLMs? Any benchmarking that you did, like how fast they are with?
Yes, sir. We did that, and those benchmarking is there in our paper as well. Let me quickly pull it out.
And for the fast performance, do you do knowledge distillation or any other thing that you did?
So we do both, sir. Based on the use case, we do both, right? One is we do the quantization, right? We don't do the distillation. We do the quantization to make it faster, and we use Hanuman, and we use edge matrix to accelerate it, right? So I have published all the benchmarking in the paper we published, sir. We did benchmarking against Phi3, Gemma, and Mistral and Llama. I'm not sure if you're able to see my screen.
So we have stopped it at the moment.
Yeah,
so
here it is there.
The time is up.
Yeah.
We have to close the session. Mr. Kamlakar, jurors, thank you for your question. Mr. Kamlakar,
Kevin,
thank
I
you.
have a question. Kevin,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Kamlakar and Dr. Chaya, congratulations. This is a really great initiative. India needs our provision LLM, and I think you have done a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir.
Tested your platform on Hugging Face. It is really pretty good, and it is encouraging to see that most of the benchmark platforms are outperforming other players. Now
Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
a important question. Okay, creating a LLM training itself is a task. What is your monetization model and which segment you're trying to replace?
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, our monetization model is in the two ways, sir. One is it we are packaging it with our agents and then giving it to the customers. Right. That's one way we are actually monetizing it. The other way is we are working with OEM companies to fine tune the models and deploy it as part of their devices. Right. That's the other model that's the other thing exploring these two options now. And the third thing is it is deployed. It is made available as an API. However, it takes it takes the investment to make it a scalable for huge usage, and that's the aspect we're working on. We are raising funds now.
How's your performance on edge devices? If you're trying to really, I think, push in small language model category as well.
Our token generation has been very good, and then even the retention of the accuracy has also been very good. We could experience only a drop of 1.5 to 2% at the max when we quantize these models and deploy it.
So this year we announced Aegis Graham Bell Award ceremony on 20th of February. A challenge for actually launching mobile dongle where the edge model will really run to facilitate millions of students to learn Python, right, or various other mathematics, physics, just as a student model. And I think it would be nice to really have that conversation, and we should also participate in that challenge. There you can really demonstrate and democratize the education to millions of kids, right? And Kevin would certainly send you these details, but I'm really glad and give a big hand to all your entire team for this wonderful work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Keep it up.
Sir, from the education perspective, maybe I'll add one point and then leave it there. So we are right now working with the Kaplan University, US, through one of our partner to build a agent for their students, right? And I'm sure we'll be glad to work with you guys if you can do something for India.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
you, sir. And Mr. Kamlakar, thank you for your time. Wish you the best with your work, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Jurors, please enter your score. We have the next presenter ready. MeitY, good morning to you. Thank you for joining. MeitY, as jurors are evaluating the previous session, would request if you could share your screen. We'll get your set ready. Jurors, we have a presentation from Hyperbots, and MeitY will be showcasing the innovation in GenAI category. Yeah, we're able to see the screen.
Let me know when you can see it.
Yes, we are able to see the presentation as well.
Yeah, all right. So hi everyone, thanks for your time. Just a quick introduction first about Hyperbots and then about myself. So we are a little less than a 2-year-old startup, essentially building AI for finance, SaaS-based end-to-end automation of finance processes. The goal is to have Agentic AI penetrate to the extent that it can take over several of the human tasks that are done in the finance space, in the CFO office today. A little bit more about the company and myself. So I lead AI here, AI and machine learning. I come from a background of a decade at Adobe Research, led their NLP related teams in the last couple of years. Did my PhD from Maryland before that. My co-founders come from the business side. Both of them are second-time entrepreneurs. Wipro and then EdTech startup, which was successfully sold to Reliance, and then we are out to solve finance here. A little bit more into the company. So we were founded mid of 2023, based in Bangalore, have around 50 people full-time, majority tech, a few patents under processing. And our core IP is the ability to understand unstructured financial data at pretty much 100% accuracy. And that is built, that is based on the models that we have built in-house. One of the core part of that model is a mixture of experts built on top of open sourced VLMs and LLMs, Llama and intern VL based models. And then an encoder layer on top of it. And I'll actually delve into it in a little bit. We launched our product in the market in October last year. We do have around 24 customers right now, predominantly serving the North America market. We do have a couple of beta customers in India, and we also do partner with bigger services companies where our product becomes a part of their offering when they go outside. So that would be India based. To support this particular AI agent piece, there is a whole platform, SaaS-based platform, which helps do the whole end-to-end process. And that is also something which is a part of the product offering. And I will actually show it to you in a quick demo. The core problems that we are solving are right now, especially in terms of the products that are out there in the market, is to do with the process of procure to pay, which is essentially going from procurement to all the way to payment. And to do that, we have what we call as co-pilots, which are nothing but these SaaS-based AI agents and workflows along with the AI agents for invoice processing, then doing month-end activities, which is your accruals, for procurement. So there essentially you can start with the contract and then all the way do a payment after the invoice comes in your ERP. Payments related work, tax verification related work, and vendor management related work. I will delve into some of this when doing the demo, hence I'm doing a very short blurb on it right now. This is pretty much what a very, very high level diagram of our finance and accounting platform looks like. And everything at the top are the different co-pilots or the different parts of the product that are visible to the customer. Everything underneath is what we have built. And like I was saying earlier, we sit on top of an existing ERP of a customer. We take in any unstructured data that is coming in, process it, and then have very specific finance process related agents plus models that will help serve the end use case. It may be a prediction use case, it may be a math reasoning use case, it may be an extraction use case, it may be a classification use case. Now, in order to do that, the first thing we needed to do to convince the finance person to say, okay, my data is safe, was to build a redaction or anonymization layer. So that is inbuilt inside the platform. The second thing was a realization that this finance data is unstructured and multimodal. So if you will see certain blocks which are talking about the ability to do layout understanding, multimodal representations, unified encoders across all of them. And then there is math. Because it is finance, there is math. So how do I have my base model and my fine-tuned layers understand math, have time series understanding, have reasoning on top of it because of explainability? All of that is part of this model already. Now, in order to make it a product, you want process capabilities, and that is what this particular layer is talking about. Everything in green are products that are out there in the market. Things that are not green are things that are being built right now. A little bit more on the architecture, again, not completely technical, but the mixture of experts that I talked about is essentially taking in multimodal input in different forms from both unstructured and structured data and serving different end use cases. Now, these use cases start from very basic things like spam detection, classification, validation, there's a matching workflow, duplicate checking, all of those things. And all of these actually form the components of ensuring an end-to-end business workflow achievement. A quick note on the data. A large amount of these models are trained on data that we created in-house synthetically. So we started off with public data sets, then moved on to synthetic data. Then we actually acquired design partners who were CFOs and convinced them to give us their old data after anonymization and things like that. And then moved on to now having customer data, which is also being used as a feedback mechanism. Approximate data size is around 35 million samples or so for the core extraction and tagging piece. And then if I scale it across different modules, it will hit around somewhere between 50 million to 1 billion samples. And again, if you want to bring in tokens, it'll be higher. So, but a large amount of our moat was building that data. We do have a human annotation team. These are a bunch of BCom graduates who understand basic accountings, and they helped us create gold standard data sets, which then were scaled through weak labeling pipelines. Very quick note on why there is a research problem. A very intuitive reason that there is a research problem is that the finance language is very different from English or any usual language that we use. These terms like say invoices or emails or a PO or a receipt or matching, all of them have a very domain specific meaning. So a typical finance processing person will be sitting in a place doing something which is rule-based day in, day out, based on their domain knowledge, and which is not like I can ask a ChatGPT to solve it for me, especially if I want to do it 100%. And hence, trying to build vertical specific AI is challenging but doable. And that's the research problem that we are trying to solve across these different processes. Quick snapshot of the accuracies that we need to achieve. This is based on experiments done during a 6-month period. There are updated numbers, happy to share them offline if needed. But essentially, this is saying that we are pretty much the best invoice interpreter or invoice capture tool that is out there in the market, especially when it comes to line items and all code feeds at the accuracy of 100%. I haven't seen it fail actually since it went into production. In terms of line items, it beats everyone that is out there. And it becomes tricky because you have different layouts coming in at each time. So I cannot actually be training on a template if I want to do zero shot. Also remember, the service business model here is the whole piece is pre-trained set of models that are served as AI agents. Customer specific training is not done. Only for recommendation pieces which are dependent on the ERP of the customer, training is done, which is the GL code recommender and stuff like that. And that is a auto ML pipeline that manually does the update. So I will move on to actually showing the product which tries to automate this part.
A minute left for this.
Yeah, I can take more time for the demo, right? Or do you want me to cover the demo also?
Cover in the presentation itself. Few seconds left.
Sure. Then I'll maybe just show a quick snapshot of the product and then I can pause for questions and then take it from there. Yeah, just 1 second. So this is, I've already logged in. This is the UI where I've already logged in. I have an invoice that came in through the email as an attachment. It was classified as an invoice. It was pulled out, went through the AI agents, and it's landing here. What you're seeing here is the document that came in. FedEx invoices are painful to deal with just because of the complexity in the layout, but this is the output. So what you are seeing here are everything that is extracted. So right from invoice number to dates to items, which even as a human, if I gave this as exercise either to myself or anyone else, we won't be able to identify what is being charged for in this invoice without spending enough time on it. Because there's a lot of stuff happening here, but it actually just means simple things like, okay, some waterproofing compounds were couriered and this was the amount. So the ability for the model to reason it out, especially in documents which are multi-page and have multiple breakups of the same information, is unique. And hence I chose FedEx, which was a little bit painful. Also, several other benchmarks.
Timing for the Q&A. So if you would like to keep it short so that you can also answer the questions.
Sure. So also like things like say discounts or taxes, which are very finance specific, getting them right is hard from the AI perspective, and that is being addressed here. But yeah, I'll just pause here. Maybe one last comment before I pause. So like I said, there's a platform involved and the product sits on top of the ERPs, right? So there is very, very heavy integration and connector framework that involves ensuring that we are able to read and write into the whatever structured data source it is for the customer with the right authentication in place. But thank you. Thanks for the time and any questions.
Thank you, Niyati. We'll start with the questions. Any of the jury would like to go first?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Dr. Manish? You would like to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Hi, Niyati. Good to meet you again.
Yeah.
Hey. So, for everyone, a little bit of conflict resolution is I know Niyati very well. She is an affiliate faculty at IIIT as well, and have been impressed by her depth of understanding and research for years now. So this is more a comment on. I came in to make a comment on. This was something that we would have expected from Adobe years ago, and finally it is coming out. Amazing work, because as any document analysis researcher knows. Reading receipts that too from different sources is a pain. You need a lot of very specific domain understanding. So that is where my question is coming from. How domain dependent would this document analysis be? I mean, if it changes from, say, even slightly changes from, let's say, sales to something else, right? Say predictions and so on and so forth, right? Same tabular data, how portable would this be?
Thanks for the question. So by design, it will support all kinds of financial documents. Priority in terms of what kinds of documents. We are starting with obviously use case specific. So right now, accuracy numbers at around say 99-ish plus would be only for documents that look like receipts or invoices. Is the current model. We are building it to be generalized to, there are actually around 45 different types of financial documents in this space. So we are building it to be generalized to those documents. Having said that, will it work for, let's say, healthcare reports? No, I don't want it to work for healthcare reports at this
Right, we would want a specific model for that, separate model for that.
Yeah.
And what is your monetization model on this? How is it being released?
It's SaaS, hosted on GCP and AWS. Info Essentially VLLM Swift based inferencing mechanisms, and it's a part of the whole product. So we don't release the endpoint API separately. The UI that I showed is what your accountant or a CFO sees. So a lot of it happens in backend. There is a near real-time angle. So process is such that the whole platform plugs into the email box or a drive where the information comes in, and it's read from there. So which allows us to kind of not be extremely fast in terms of inference efficiency wise. So right now we serve it using a cluster of 800 GPUs, 880 GB GPUs, around 4 of them. The whole end-to-end 10 different ML services. There is a use case where the customer wants it immediately. In that case, we actually double the compute in order to allow independent kind of processing of different models.
My question was more from the perspective of usability by the ground level customers. How accessible is that? How affordable is that? Is what
Okay, the monetization and payment method here is transaction based. The market here, so if you notice the target market is North America, mostly because we are cheaper than a human over there, or we are cheaper than an outsourced human. Will I be cheaper than an accountant in India? Not at all. Pricing is done in the range of $1 to $5 per invoice based on the volumes and size of customer and things like that. We have gone as low as 50 cents when we partner with someone and they package this inside their product.
Okay, good to know. Thanks, Niyati.
Yeah.
Dr. Anand, your question?
Hi, Niyati.
Hi.
So it's very interesting thing, and yeah, it's a very useful thing. Actually, yeah, it's not only for US, especially for India, right? There are so many MSMEs, so many companies, so many startups, so they can benefit a lot. But I think you need to work on the like financial part.
Yeah.
And like make it cheaper for everybody. One doubt that I have is so the invoice that you saw, that is a PDF, right? It's PDF, the system generated. Now, what if there's a physical copy, paper invoice, which if I take a picture and upload it, will that work?
Yeah, it does. So that is actually the large volume of the doc. So our target is mid-market North America. And whether we like it or not, North America is way behind when it comes to digitization, this mid-market. So majority of the stuff we see is images and very bad scans of the documents that come in. The place where it sometimes fails is very bad written, handwritten, like completely non-human legible stuff. Sometimes it fails. There as well, we end up getting partial extraction because there is a VLM based OCR followed by LLM based reasoning, kind of.
OCR can use.
So
Like which OCR is used for this?
it's in-house. So it's in-house. It's built. So there's something built on top of Paddle OCR plus something built on top of a Quen 32 billion model. Both of them serve in tandem.
And it works only with English language or with
It works. So it has been tested for English and all other Latin-based languages. For non-Latin based languages, again, it's not been benchmarked, but leaving Arabic, I haven't seen it fail. Arabic, I think it fails mostly because of a choice of our base model over there, which doesn't support Arabic yet. Again, it was a business decision to not optimize for those languages because of the target customer base initially. So it's more like a roadmap decision.
And extracted data can be stored in the form of a CSV, or it can be exported as a CSV, right?
Yes. So its download is possible, even upload in any form is okay. Like e-invoicing kind of things are also coming into play because while extraction is one part, ensuring that the whole process is achieved needs other reasoning. For that, I may have a e-invoice coming, I may have a CSV come in, I may have a docx come in. All of that is also supported on the input side. For the user, we give it to them in whatever form they need. So
Yeah, thank you so much. That's all for my.
Dr. Gaurav, you have a question?
Yeah, hi Niyati. So one quick question. So there was one slide where unstructured to structured that you are doing, right? Can you briefly explain like how do you convert unstructured or structured data?
yeah, so the core unstructured data here is things like invoices, purchase orders, contracts, all of that. And we have a fine tune, and the output is required to be in a JSON format, let's say for simplicity, a bunch of key value pairs. For invoices itself, there are around 200 fields that one needs to extract from there in order to achieve the straight through end-to-end business process. We have fine-tuned models. So we take the information from the document, extract it, do some image processing on top of it to make it more readable. And then we have fine-tuned both LLM and VLMs in order to focus on different parts of that document and convert it to structured data. Then there is a LLM as evaluator, what we call as checkers, which help correct that information. Then it goes through a lot of post processing, and then it kind of is the result. I'll just show you a quick slide to visualize that, if that's okay. Yeah, so this is a view just of that unstructured to structured. While this is a deployment view, but what we want to focus on is something like this here. So the document comes in, there is pre-processing, which includes some OCR plus equivalents, skew correction, say angle detection. There is a 2D proprietary format that we convert every incoming document into. Then it kind of goes to different models for different parts of that document. This is an illustration just for entities and line items. Within this, these are actually parallel models. So there is this is a fine-tuned model. These are also fine-tuned model. Then they go through these evaluators, which are also fine-tuned, but they are very, very short fine-tuning, very, very small sample fine-tuning. Because I don't
Your in-house data.
Yeah.
All of them are fine-tuned in-house data.
Yeah, and then there is like even after I do all this, there is a whole bunch of stuff happening here, right? So there is not because there's math and numbers. So there's math, numbers, currency, which means normalizations. Then there is stuff that the user may not mean, so you are not retaining it. There is a algorithm-based kind of hallucination check, and then sorry, I got unshared. And then we convert it to a required format and then put it out so that it can be indexed.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I think
Thank you, MeitY. Thank you for your time. MeitY, we have one question from one of our participant who is online. He asked, and this is from, just a minute, let me just name the person. Are you using a proprietary OCR or open source OCR?
So we
That's a
are built
question.
on top of open source OCR. There are two components to it. One is a transformer encoder decoder based model, which is built on top of Paddle OCR. So further fine tune and things like that. And second one is a in-house VLM based model, which has been fine tuned completely in-house. So both are open source based models.
Thank you.
Code basis.
Thank you for answering these questions as well as for the jurors' questions as well. We wish you the best with your work. Thank you for presenting at Graham Bell.
Thank you.
Jurors would enter your score. I'll get the next set ready. We have Mr. Satyamoy, who will be part of this presentation. Allow me a minute. Sir, would request you to now start. Let me add a spotlight to you. Yes. Sir, you can share your screen now.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, can you confirm if my screen is visible too?
Sure. It's visible, sir. Would request for a full screen mode. Yes.
Perfect.
Over to you, sir.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Surge Data Labs presentation. We are an AI startup with a mission to empower mid-sized enterprises who are generally underserved to, one second, something is popping on my screen. Okay, sorry about it. To achieve true data-driven decision-making through practical application of AI technologies, especially Agentic AI. The way I have structured this presentation today, first minute will acquaint you with the problem that we are solving. Then we will showcase the solution. Bulk of the presentation will be on demonstrating our innovation and the impact that we are creating. And we'll wind up with how we are different from what is available in the market and what we foresee as a social impact of this innovation. My name is Satyamay, and my colleague and partner Satyavata, who couldn't join today because of an emergency, we are the co-founders and innovator of this solution. We are both Satya, not by design, but by chance. So you can trust that our company will always speak the truth. So 58% of the companies today globally base at least half of their regular business decisions through gut feeling or experience rather than utilizing data-based decisioning or information, whereas pretty much there's a unanimity that data-driven decision-making is the only way forward. A business manager, on an average, makes about 8 to 12 critical decisions every day at work. While we all know decision-making process itself can be stressful, add to that the pressure of being data-driven, it kind of magnifies the stress level. So what prohibits a business manager to make a data-driven decision? Number one, the slow response to their request to various teams. Number two, that the data that they get many times become overwhelming and inactionable. They get something which is rigid and not that flexible so that they can themselves roll up their sleeves, dig deeper, and interact with the data and the insights. Number four, they have to deal with the miscommunication and lack of collaboration between different teams that delay the goal achievement. And number five, the fear of missing opportunities if the decision get delayed is in their mind. Now, all of this can be addressed today because the technology is now very powerful, especially the Agentic AI technology, if it is utilized in the proper manner. And that is where our solution ADAPT comes into play. It's an autonomous data-enabled planning and tasking solution. The recipe consists of 4 ingredients in a balanced manner. Number one, the right application of industry experience and expertise. Number two, application of the advanced Agentic AI technology. Number three, the provisioning for the human in loop so that we are considering the right balance between the man and machine resonance to create the right impact and efficiency. And number 4, the technology readiness for cost effectiveness and guardrails for security and privacy. Adept can deliver up to 20x greater efficiencies in data-driven decision making. So without much ado, I'll get into the demonstration. So our solution is in AWS. It is cloud agnostic. It is kind of designed to be flexibly integrated into the on-prem environment as well. For the lack of, for the interest of time, I will not go to the AWS demonstration, but we have created a carousel with a one use case. So the use case is a mid-sized online fashion apparel retailer was facing decline in sales. Their current retention strategy was rule-based, not very effective, and not very efficient as well, because there's a lot of human dependency in execution. So the head of sales has 2 goals in mind. One, can the targeting be very effective and data-driven? Number 2, can the frequency of campaigns be increased from monthly to weekly? So the head of sales logs into Adept, which is inside their cloud environment, and starts interacting with Adept as if they are interacting with a human being. So for example, she asks the question, can you describe the customer behavior data? And Adept answers within a second. He asks, can you show me the distribution of my sales across different regions? And Adept shares a pie chart quickly. Now she digs deeper and want to understand what is the current sales compared to the previous period. And clearly through the bar chart that Adept generates, it shows that North is the problem area. She digs deeper and asks, hey, Adept, what percentage of customers have actually stopped purchasing on us or showed a decline in sales? It shows 81% have lower sales compared to the previous period in North, right? So she clearly knows North is the problem. Now, based on her experience, she wants to validate or reject certain hypotheses that she has in mind, right? So she interacts with the Adept agent and say, hey, Adept, do you think cart abandonment could be one of the issues why of the decline in sales in North? Adept comes back with a human-like response that, hey, you are right. There is 31% issue is because of cart abandonment in North compared to 7.7 and 8.3% in the other 2 regions. So she now knows, and she now wants to act on it, right? So she wants to AI to act quickly. So she asks the agent to draft a succinct, meaningful email and send it out to the regional manager of North for him to dive deeper and act on this issue. The RM, after receiving the note from the head of sales, promptly does 5 things. Number 1, he interacts with Adept to draw deeper specific insights. Number 2, he utilizes Adept to send a communication to the customer experience team to act. Number 3, on parallel, what he does is he asks the agent to apply data science to create an effective targeting mechanism. And number 4, he asks the CRM team to execute on the campaign. And at the end, he sends a meaningful, concise report to his boss. And here is how it happens. He asks that, hey, apart from cart abandonment, do you think any other issue? So Adept's business analyst agent comes back and replies that, you know what, the customer service seems to be an issue because the number of customer tickets is almost 3 times that of the other region in North. Right. Then the RM asks to communicate that to the customer experience team to dig deep and find out the reason why the tickets have gone up. In parallel, he activates the data science agent from Adept and asks to apply the science to identify the top 10% of customers that they want to reach out for targeting to arrest the sales attrition. So behind the scene, the agent activates the machine learning algorithms, random forest in this particular case, to identify the top 10% and create the data file with the location, which the RM requests the agent to send a communication to the CRM team to implement. Now, all of these things is happening within a span of 1.5 to 2 hours as compared to 4 to 6 weeks, as it would take at the absence of this kind of agentic AI solution, right? So by the way of showcasing this use case, what I want to highlight, what we are doing, we are utilizing our collective experience of 100+ years among the seniors in the team to to be able to create more than 350 use cases for retail and BFSI. These are the two verticals that we are focusing on across functions like marketing and sales, customer service, operations, finance, risk, and credit. Now, all of these use cases utilizes the deep experience that we have interacting with human beings, interacting with the teams. And we understand where are the pros and cons and where are the gaps that can be filled, and can the machine not only be made intelligent, but also experienced so that they can think, act, and utilize their experience to make the decisions. So these 350 plus use cases will cover almost 90% of what can be done in these two industry verticals for data enablement, and we want to pass that benefit on to our customers so that we can quickly orient for their use case and create the impact rapidly. Very high level view as to the architecture of this solution. We are using the usual 5 components, but we are orchestrating it differently, where we are feeding in a lot of knowledge to the environment. So number one, the Agentic AI framework, which is the glue code. Right now we are using LangChain and Agno, but it is designed to integrate any other glue code that is available out there, either in the client environment or the client choice, or what is befitting the context. Large language model remains the brain of this solution, but the large language model also needs to be made very knowledgeable and aware by engineering the prompts right for the use cases, and also feeding the LLM with the policy document, the industry best practices, the best practices for the client, etc. Right? So the LLM decides how to create the agent, what kind of tool calling. So we are integrating pretty much all the tools which are usual suspects for the data enablement environment, like Python, Power BI, SQL, Tableau, communication tools like Teams and Outlook. And this is made easier now by Anthropic's Govt, which is Model Context Protocol, which is simplifying that tool integration.
So, Chatterjee, seconds.
Yeah.
I believe there is a demo as well. Do you want me to continue with the timer for the Q&A? The time is up here.
Okay, the 10 minutes is up. Yeah, sure. So I was just winding up in a minute, just to see that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please.
Yes. So just to highlight that there are other players in the ecosystem as well who are driving the Agentic AI agenda, but we're trying to carve a niche space for ourselves by ingesting the deep experience that we have and being ready with all the accelerators that there's a meaningful utilization of the latest and greatest in this space. And there is a bit of a social impact as well as we foresee, because we are focusing on the financial services and the retail, where there's a significant underserved customer segment who will now, it will be easier to serve them because the machine will do bulk of the work. So the ROI on focusing on those segments will be high as well. So yeah, let me just stop here and open it out for questions. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Jurors, we are open for questions. Yeah, any of the jurors would like to go first?
I can go first.
Yeah. Yes.
So you're working on AI agent, right? So what is the, let's say, how will you differentiate yourself with other companies who are working on AI agents?
Yes. So there are multiple players out there. See, large tech companies are pushing the platform agenda. So tools and techniques won't be an issue. There are some product companies also who are selling embedded agents. We, from our experience, have a firm belief that you really need to be very, very close to the context, and every context will be different. So we believe that a product play will not work here because it will be kind of straitjacketing. It's very important to be able to abreast with the context of the client, where we are very good at, given our consulting and solution development experience. Now, how do we scale it? We are utilizing the technology to scale it. So we are creating these widgets and accelerators so that the time to impact will be really rapid for us. So we bring in our agents, we orient for the client's context, and then we kind of deploy it for scale. So I would say the ingestion of the experience in the right way to create a resonance between the man-machine blend is where we will differentiate in the retail and BFSI space.
And who is the end user in India with respect to India?
Yes, so it is the mid-sized companies who are currently not served very well, right? Because of a lot of reasons. Affordability is one of the reasons. So the end user will be the business professionals who are making the decisions. Now we are going to give something to them which will kind of quadruple their ability to interact with the data and do that rapidly without the fear of being technically right? So that is one of the end users. For the technical users, we are giving it as a co-pilot. So their efficiency will go up. Because what happens today is, for the mid-sized enterprises, in order to create a team, right, even to do something, the use case that I showed is like at least a 5-member team, because the skill sets are different. Somebody needs to be very good at Python, SQL, visualization, interpretation of the business language, etc. Right now, all of these can be squeezed to like a half human in loop, right? So there's a significant cost advantage, and the technical persona will get that kind of ammo with them so that they can do things rapidly without having to worry about all kind of technical skills.
So, and can you name some of the clients, like major clients?
Yes. Without taking name, we are currently working with 3 clients. One is a mid-sized bank in Middle East, where we entered through our experience in the data modernization space. So CFO was our client. Their objective was to, hey, I do not have a data mart or a way to create the reports and scale the reporting up without also worrying about the accuracy. So we went in and as a consulting hat, and then first of all, we automated a lot of things that was kind of scientific, right? Automated. So we tapped into their source system. They were using Finastra, right? And then created a quick data mart and then automated using Power BI. Now we came up and say, hey, how about I also create a bit of autonomy for you, right? And instead of human being doing all this, can I create agents for that? So they were convinced, in a little bit of evangelism was required, but we are creating agents for them so that not only the reports are automated, but reports are generating insights also, which are actionable. So what we are doing now we are also creating lists at a monthly level for the campaign.
You can just name some other clients.
Yes. So one is the bank, and second is one of the retail, one of the Indian retail who are sizable and into the e-commerce space. So we are doing a repeat purchase rate optimization for them. So they are seeing a lot of one and done behavior, and you know how the quick commerce space is today. The customers are not loyal. I mean, if you reduce the speed by 1 minute, they'll come to you. So they want to be scientific in their ability to understand that, hey, can I increase the repeat purchase rate? So we are creating agents for them to do that, those kind of loyalty analytics. So we are using like concepts like RFM and LTV to do that, but creating agents for that. The third client that I cannot name, but it's a large petrochemical company. So there we are getting into the dynamic pricing space. So we are creating pricing analytics solution for them, because the pricing depends on a lot of factor for them, and it requires specialized experience to do that. So we are bringing in a lot of experience into it to create an optimized price optimization solution for them. Yeah, and then there are a lot of pipeline discussions which are going on, but pretty much all of them is where the consulting hat needs to be wear first before getting into the agentic play.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Any of the jury would like to ask question?
Wonderful work, right? But here is the challenge. Considering like every client there is a massive variability in terms of data and domain. So this seems me it's quite difficult to really grow as a product, but more of a consulting and service-based system, because every time you have to really build a new kind of rack pipeline, or you have to do the fine-tuning kind of stuff. And that also is a niche area where you can really get a lot of consulting assignment. One product with all kind of solution may not really work, but at the same time, it also offers a limitation for you in terms of scalability.
Sure. So down the road, Rupesh, and thank you for the question. We are not saying no to a product, but through the experience, through the consulting experience, we need to identify that niche space which can scale, right? Are we ready to build a product? Within 6 to 8 months from now, we will be ready, because the science part will be figured. And we are designing the widget such a way that we are keeping everything modular. So today, for example, Claude Sonnet or GPT-4 is doing a great job. DeepSeek on certain areas doing well. Tomorrow, if a new LLM comes in, will be the fastest to integrate that in our environment, right? So the time to impact, we are making sure that we are going to reduce. Now the question is whether the use case and the context and the environment for the client will vary. Now most of them will be in cloud, retail and financial services sector that we are targeting, and they're either going to be in AWS or one of the GCP or Azure cloud, and all of them are going to give their tool and tech stack, which will be very quick to integrate and build as a solution. How do we actually align with the client context? That is where our 350 plus use cases that we are creating as an agentic solution will come into play. And given our experience, like I bring in about 20 years, Satyavata 20 years, and we have others. We have seen the customer life cycle.
I think you have given given enough explanation. My point was like, do you have any aspiration to move into the product direction or remain like as a consulting or service provider, right? No need to even become a product as long as you're making money.
Sure, sir. So we do have aspiration to build a product. Okay. For that, we are working on the investment track. Okay. It will require a lot of capital investment.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other judo have any questions? Gaurav? Yes.
Satyabhai, so one question is like, how easy is to integrate, let's say, different mid-sized companies are there, like, so how easy is to integrate your product with them? Like, do you see that some of them are easier, some of them are difficult? Because every company has its own sets of challenges, right?
Yes.
So just let's say, for example, you automated. So does the same automation works across different companies, or you need to customize that also further as per the challenges?
So conceptually, it will follow a path. How good we are at identification of the nuances, right? So the fundamentally they need to have some level of data figuring out, right? So we have done it for the customer who did not even have a data lake or a data mart, right? So there are connectors which can connect with the source system and then bring the data in. The great part with this new technology is the data doesn't need to follow a certain pattern, right? You do not need a RDBMS. You can bring the data, dump it, right? It will be intelligently able to identify and utilize, right? So we are utilizing those promises of the technology to create a path which is close to generalization, but still there will be nuances. The difficulty level is not that much, right, if it is done properly. There is a modernization of the data aspect as well, which come into play. So if the data is really messy, right, it's not modernized, the first step would be to focus on modernization, where the agents can play a role as well.
And one last question is, like, you have multiple LLMs that you're using, right?
Yes.
So is in particular way they're interacting, or they are used in a like ensemble way, or like any specific way they're interacting?
Yes. So there's an ensemble methodology there. So there's a LLM which is kind of a guardrail or trying to filter or distill things out so that we are minimizing hallucination or ability for the LLM to say no, hey, I don't know this answer, right? Before passing it on. There's a cost optimization angle as well. So so for some of them, we are bringing the LLM in-house, the open source one, which are good at certain things. So long story short, we are curating the LLM and structuring such a way so that there's a cost effectiveness and the guardrails are in place in terms of accuracy and privacy.
Yeah, but the order of using of LLMs is fixed, right? I mean, it's not adaptive. It's static only, right? The way of usage of LLMs. Is it?
Yeah, Satyavati, you want to take that?
Yeah, I was just adding to what Satyamaya said, that there are cases where we are using very small models, not really the bigger ones, because depending on the context, if we can do the job using a Quen, for example, we don't need a Llama 70 billion.
Right.
So our usage of the models are really tied to the use cases. And And to your point, yes, we haven't yet fine-tuned or distilled any model, if that was your question. We are using the off-the-shelf models which are available. But in our roadmap, we have the plan to fine-tune models, have our own small models for different contexts. Right now, we are managing that with the prompts. So we are making our prompts very efficient so that with few shot learning, we are providing examples that for this kind of use case, you need to do this. But down the line, we have plans to fine tune and distilled models for very, very niche areas. For example, if I'm working with the risk management of a retail bank, now the model needs very specific context, right? If I'm working with the treasury of a bank, right? So in those kind of niche areas, we will need fine-tuned and distilled models, which is in our roadmap.
Right. So I was just asking about the order. Let's say, will the smallest LLM will be the first one to be asked, or randomly you will take any LLM first? You will ask them and then followed by, or like what order that you?
Yeah, the order is the smallest LLM, and we are right now using Llama 7 billion model for that, which is kind of doing the translation job of the prompts and the questions, and then it is assigning the tasks to the bigger model where it decides the steps and then does the tool calling, function calling, all of that.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Juros, we are close to the time there, and Team Search Data, thank you for being part of this event. Wish you the best with your work.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. All the best.
Thank you. Juros, we come to the closer of the session. We have Octocore, which will be skipped for this session. However, they will be presenting for the later one. However, we have Saurabh and Vaibhav who will be presenting their innovations today, which is Emo AI. And let me just add a spotlight to them first. Hi, Vaibhav. Hi, Saurabh. You can share your screen. You're on mute, Vaibhav. Yes, thank you.
Hi, everyone. All right, Gavin, it's MWO.
My apologies there.
Just give me a moment. Let me share my screen. Very good afternoon, everyone, for joining in. I am joined by my colleague, Saurabh. Both Saurabh and I. One second. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Yeah.
Could you see the screen? Request for a full screen mode?
Yeah, just a second, boss. Just struggling with Zoom.
Yes. That's a full screen mode, right? Well, let me add a spotlight to the timer. Yes. We can start with the presentation. Wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A very good afternoon for joining us and giving us this opportunity. We are a part of a company called MWO. MWO perhaps basically means emotion, empathy and I think that was also one of the reasons why we started building something like this, because of the fact that we realized enterprise automation is in silos. The reason why most of them are not able to scale is because they do not understand the nuances of what it takes for a digital employer or digital employee to be. So with that concept, we started, and now we envision it as an AI workforce for empathetic customer experience. Just to give you a perspective, let's say, imagine having an entire digital workforce available 24/7, speaking native languages, understanding context, and even, recognizing emotions from that perspective. It can act seamless as an extension of your best human employees. And that's MWO. MWO perhaps is building a AI workforce orchestration platform that not just gives you an AI tool, but it's basically building a factory floor for creating digital employees. And that's the whole idea of creating this. And we figured out that going and talking to a lot of enterprises, and the solution has actually been conceptualized after talking to almost 100 customers across various territories, and figure out that, hey, they do have enterprise solutions. They are talking about AI, but to an extent are not able to get closer to the applications of agentic AI. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And I think just to give you a perspective, we've just put a small opportunity in terms of how this platform can really come into life and give you complete understanding of the problem that we're trying to solve. So primarily it started off with customer service, but then now it is at a cusp where it can not just improve your customer engagement but also help in process improvement. And yeah, there's a of course a legitimate data around how we figured out that this is the problem that we should be going after. So last year, if you look at it, customers, and this is only in India, we'll talk about, had spent over 15 billion hours on hold. We don't realize that a lot of times, but then one of the major reason is, of course, shortage of the talent, and of course the intent of delivering empathy at scale is what is missing, and that's how Embo was conceptualized. So the idea is to perhaps build agents which can act, think, collaborate, and perform end-to-end tasks for you, and without losing the essence of what the customers actually want. And somebody told us very recently, the whole idea, if a brand or a company remembers you as a customer, understands your needs, and understands a lot of aspects around how you go about living your life, can really make a lot of difference in terms of getting the top of the mind recall for customers. So that's exactly the problem statement that we looked at solving. And now this moves beyond a typical AI chatbot or a voice bot that you might have come across. We're basically trying to build an agent factory, or let's say a lovable of agents, where you come, prompt, give your questions, talk about your problems, and we can spin off an agent that can certainly do that for you. To give you a perspective on the market, that what from a perspective from where we come across. So if you look at the overall the labor market as well as the automation market, it kind of ranges somewhere between 185 billion and has a potential to go as high as 275 billion in the next 5 years. And if you just pick up the call center, voice AI, and all those industries where you find a fitment of a better agentic AI platform, I think the SAM is somewhere around 37 billion to 55 billion from that point of view. And we're talking about a global coverage where you can pick up L1 level use cases and even eventually go to L2 and L3 level of solving complex use cases through agents. So that's the kind of market that we eventually look at. And of course, with the little bit traction that we have got, we feel that this is the right time in terms of picking up use cases for CIOs or CXOs which are still on the whiteboard, and then eventually helping them solve those use cases using a platform where you can spin off an agent without actually knowing the meaning of agentic AI for sure. So, and this is one example which we actually give, that how would you imagine a future, something like imagine an agent which can talk to you about your health. All you have to do is ingest your medical report or a blood work report, and the agent will be equipped to understand each and every nuance of your health, your parameters, can guide you in terms of your health lifestyle, your exercise regime, and can perhaps integrate, while it's doing that, integrate with all the gadgets that you might be using to measure your health, and perhaps be your best companion. So and from there, if let's say tomorrow you want to learn guitar, you can simply come in on the platform and say, I want to learn guitar, this is the kind of music I want to learn. The agent will actually go acquire all those knowledge for you and can actually start your guitar tutor classes from tomorrow, pinging you on WhatsApp, email, sending you assignments, evaluating you, and then of course certifying you. So this is the future that we eventually imagined, and with that, I think we started building Embo, and to an extent, it's been a great ride for us. I'll invite Saurabh now, who can give you a quick glimpse on the innovation that we've built, and we call it Embo Agent Verse, where you can create pre-built tools and stuff. And I think I can pass it on to Saurabh, so we can take it up from here.
Thanks, Vaibhav. So, as Vaibhav mentioned, the whole concept of Agentverse is basically providing a platform where anyone can come and build agents and deploy it instantaneously. So that's the idea. The whole agent-verse platform is divided into three parts. One is pre-deployment, where you can go to an agent wizard, where it will ask you certain questions related to what you want to build the agent for, what are the tasks you want it to achieve, and accordingly, it will help you through certain steps to ultimately reach to the stage where agent can be built and deployed. Apart from that, the whole concept of agent also consists of one important piece where you need to have certain tools for it to function properly. So that's where the tool forgery comes into picture, where there are a lot of pre-built tools, as well as there is the option for people to build their custom tools as well, which can be used to say talk to different CRM systems or ERP systems. Now, once these agents are built, from the pre-deployment, it goes into the deployment phase, which is the agent factory, where you can uh, go and directly like connect it with the different layers of communication, be it telephony or WhatsApp or web, and ultimately then you can deploy it with a single click. So that's the whole idea, that how we can ease the overall process for the like companies as well as individuals to build and deploy agents. Now, the next important step, as per our assessment, which comes into picture, is post-deployment. How exactly we can give actionable insights for enterprises, for example, as well as smaller companies, to figure out how exactly they can utilize the data from a CX perspective and take their business decisions. So that's where the dashboard and analytics come into picture, where initially the agent, the system will have certain specific analytics, and on top of that, there will be an analytics agent as well. And the last and most crucial part is how the agent can continuously evolve as well, where the evaluation engine comes into picture, where the agents can be continuously evolved, and the it is connected to an infinite memory layer, which helps the agent keep the conversations contextual. There are two types of context. One is definitely across multiple user related to the company specific information, and then user specific information as well. So it keeps both the informations contextual through the infinite memory layer. Yeah, next slide. So as you can see, this is the a detailed diagram of how exactly it works. From the agent wizard, the agents can be built and then moves to the agent factory, from where it can ultimately go to the deployment layer, and the self-evolution also comes into the picture. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is an overview of how we are building the platform, where you can go and ultimately you can build the agents either through the agent factory, where we will be providing certain pre-built agents as well, and then you also have the option to build it from the scratch. And the industries where the pre-built agents will be available for CX will be insurance, banking, healthcare, manufacturing, retail, e-commerce, etc. So that's the idea of how exactly the overall platform will work.
Yeah, I'll give you a walkthrough of the demo. If it's possible, let's finish the slides and then go into the demo. If that works, Gavin.
Vaibhav, we have times up for the presentation. Let's start with the Q&A. In case viewers would wish to see the demo, you can showcase them during the Q&A time.
Yeah, sure.
First question as well from Dr. Sarkar. Sir, over to you.
Yes, so Vaibhav and Saurabh, nice. Yes, so nice presentation. I quickly wanted to understand, you talked about the empathy part in your introduction. So what is the differentiator? What is that empathic element in the conversation or in the delivery? I didn't find anything because you focused a lot on the tech stack, but that where you're branding and positioning yourself, I think that narrative, at least I didn't get it from the demo. So if you could focus on that part, what additional you are doing as compared to other players, I think that will be very interesting to know.
Yeah, yet to show the demo, but yeah, sorry.
Definitely, there are a couple of things actually related to empathy. One thing where when we were doing the problem statement analysis, we understood that a lot of the times companies outsource their overall customer support and customer experience pieces to people who do not even know about the product, the companies, and the users' information as well. So that's the first thing, that personalization helps people feel that the brand is empathetic towards them. And second, definitely, is how exactly the emotions can be perceived. So how we are doing the the prompting as well, understanding of the emotions, that if someone is not, so we do it sort of real-time understanding of what sort of emotion someone is depicting through their voices. And if someone is, say, in the panic mode, or if someone is in urgency, then we have the option to say directly channelize to a human person in certain use cases. For example, in healthcare, if it is related to say emergency use cases. So that is something we do to ensure. So these are the two pieces related to the empathy and emotion.
So you just gave two examples. So is there like an collection of empathetic actions that you have, and what sort of actions, and because also it will change from sector to sector. Healthcare might be one thing. If say you are trying to sell something in the ed tech, that might be something else. If you're trying to sell or like a Domino's pizza, that might be very different empathy that you will look at. So how do you customize it to a different domain, or you are fine-tuning, or currently you are hard coding it for a particular domain? So give some maybe a bit more perspective on that part.
Currently, based on the industries, we have done our detailed analysis. We are hard coding it through prompt engineering. For example, as one use case I mentioned about healthcare. Similarly, one use case which comes into insurance is related to first notice of loss, which again is there is a lot of empathy and emotion is needed in that use case as well. So that is how we are approaching this right now. The plan is in the long term to build an empathy engine on top of it, which can automate this whole step.
Okay. Thanks.
I think Vaibhav and Saurabh, Dr. Avik Sarkar has really pointed out, because you're building a whole narrative around the catching up the emotions and empathy, which is extremely difficult, right? Because the most of the LLM models, they tend to really depict superficial and fake emotion. And that emotions also changes when the session changes, right? Because it doesn't have any contextual understanding. And this leads to completely backfire, right? So while talking it very simple, but building up narrative and building up a product around it is extremely difficult. So do you have any kind of IP, or you are just building your own fake narrative around catching the sentiments and emotions?
No, sir. So there are two things definitely, as I mentioned, related to catching the emotion directly. That is something which is in process. This is not completely built. As I mentioned, it is hard coded. Second is related to the context and personalization. That also adds to a level of empathy for the user, which already exists in the system.
That is a generic thing which every LLM is offering. That cannot be a differentiator. Of the self of LLM are not the benchmark for catching the empathy and emotions, right? And I have already told you the problem, and you may be aware of that. Is there any IP which you're building? Have you done some kind of research? Did you really build some kind of models, or maybe some research which can really carry that context from here to there, and even the multiple agents? Right? That's what my interest is. It seems that you're still working, but it's a good
it's a
problem to really, it's a good problem to really focus. But I think you have to be very cautious in terms of really building your narrative around that.
Agree.
Okay. Right. It is more than a question. It's observation and comment. Thank you. It's a good work. Keep it up. Yeah.
Any other juror have any questions? Yeah, Dr. Anand.
Yeah. So what market segment like you are trying to this thing, your end users will be?
So largely enterprises which struggle with customer engagement, and I think with the traction that we've got, we are working with a bunch of manufacturing companies. We are working with a pretty large insurance aggregator in Malaysia, and then of course we are working with a couple of healthcare companies, healthcare institutions, where we have use cases around report manager, your end-to-end orchestration or triage between doctors and hospitals. Then for manufacturing, we are working with the likes of Hafele and HR Johnson, where we are picking up the entire process of lead qualification to an end-to-end dealer assignment, which is happening. Then there is another set of use cases that we are doing where we're improving the overall service optimization for Hafele, where people eventually call in for troubleshooting, and we're saving a lot of cost in terms of training agents who could solve 70 to 80% of troubleshooting on a call or on a chat. And yeah, I think largely we are picking up segments where there is definitely a huge deployment, or look at use cases which are still on the whiteboard. For example, ROI driven use cases, or use cases where the CIOs and CXOs are actually bleeding in terms of cost saving. So those are some of the use cases that we're picking up. And of course, we're also talking to a lot of mid-market companies in the US, where we find a vertical level fitment for particular use cases, and we are going forward and deploying them.
What about can you name some of the challenges that you face, or some use cases where your system does not work, or it hallucinates or something? Can you share?
Oh yeah, of course. This is an evolving process, Dr. Anand. So we have faced issues with respect to language switches. We've faced issues with respect to staying onto the context. But I think heavy guardrailing, understanding deeper nuances of the problem have been able to help us get to an optimum solution around that. So
one understanding we have had in the last couple of months, definitely, like India as a market is a little complicated because of multiple languages you have to cater to. And second thing is how exactly, so the better we understand the problem statement, that's why we pick and choose the use cases we are doing. The better we understand the problem statement, the better the output of the agent is. So that is something we are very focused about, the use cases we want to take up. So it's ultimately becomes if you put in garbage, then it becomes garbage in, garbage out. So we have to be very cautious about how exactly we build the agents. Yeah.
So, for example, we say a complete no to use cases like collections, banking collections, or interest collections, because in a way we also tell these companies that you don't need AI for that. You need collection agents to go ahead and do that, though there are huge volumes. But on the contrary, we are picking up use cases like, if there is a renewal due, can your agent also do an upsell? So, for example, you paid 15,000 rupees for your car insurance last year. The agents are equipped enough to understand that, through infinite memory, understand how you bought that insurance. Do you want us to replicate that? And in case you want to, let's say it can propose a simple upsell. Sir, can you add 500 rupees in your current plan? We'll be able to give you 3 more benefits. These are the use cases where you need cognitive abilities, you need skill sets, and these are the areas which the CIOs are, to an extent, are looking at targeting right now, where help us solve the problem. I'll tell you a very interesting use case. We're doing this for a company called WaterTech. So sales guys go to retailers and dealers every day. They're supposed to meet, let's say, 50 outlets, 40 outlets every day. Due to human incapabilities or whatever, every sales guy misses out 15 to 20 outlet every day. There are 200 salespeople who miss out 15 to 20 outlets every day. So if we do that, we're talking about 4,000 missed opportunities. So we've plugged in an agent which is connected to your CRMs and ERPs, knows your retailer really well, dials a call and says, "Hi, Vaibhav, your sales guy was unable to come. I'm here. I know your last orders. Do you want me to repeat that, or there is any specific request around replacement or refund or anything to do with your billing?" So it can handle that level of conversation, take the insights and push it back. So we're basically trying to add additional revenue, which was eventually missed due to the
in I think there's some very interesting problem. So you are thinking in a good use case. Let's say scammers, right? Like scammers also try to use the same things. India is full of scammers. Or so how do you make sure that it is secure? And many of the customers, they want a human to call. They don't want a agent or a robot to call.
Yeah.
Call, right? So people just block the spam. So how do you handle this case?
So one is definitely providing a human-like conversation. So unfortunately, we're not able to show you a demo, but you can always go to the playground. We can share the link and test it out. You will actually feel the difference in terms of whether you're talking to a human or an agent. So that thing we're basically doing through multi-model projector, seeding voice into the LLMs and not following a typical pipeline ASR TTS model. So we've negated that whole completely. Second, when you talk about cases like fraudulent scams and stuff, I was talking to one of the CFOs last week, and he had a requirement where he figured out that, let's say, for a PO, a purchase order, 100 rupees purchase order approval is required. Can you spot POs which are coming less than 100, let's say 99 rupees PO? Can you spot a trend through this? So we can equip through that agent, we can build an agent which can understand that pattern. So to get into deeper problems, we need to know how are you solving it right now, and we can digitize that whole workflow and bring that experience through the digital worker that we're building.
Another thing, just to add on to the last point, how we are ensuring the numbers ultimately are verified. So whenever we deploy any number for any of the enterprises, that number is verified on Truecaller, as well as that number is circulated through the company salespeople to the distributor network, so that they know this is the verified number through which the call might come.
Thank
you. Thank you.
If you can give us 2 minutes, we can also showcase the demo. I don't know, we lost time.
We are close on the time, Vaibhav. But if in case jurors want to see the demo, if so in the way last session, if you wish to see the demo, you can give a thumbs up, or we can proceed.
You can take a 1 minute, not 2 minutes. Just show that up.
Sure. Give me a moment, please.
Great.
Just confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we are.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So, I hope everyone's comfortable with Hindi.
Yes.
Converted this into a.
We all are Indians. If not comfortable, there will be issue.
All right. So this is the playground that we've built, and please confirm you can see here.
Yes.
Hello.
नमस्ते, मैं स्टार हेल्थ शील्ड जोड़ एआई हूं, आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस पार्टनर। पॉलिसी सिलेक्शन, रिन्यूअल्स, कैशलेस हॉस्पिटल्स, क्लेम्स या प्रिवेंटिव चेकअप्स, मैं सब में मदद कर सकता हूं। आप बताएं, आज मैं आपकी किस प्रकार सहायता कर सकता हूं?
यार मेरी मदर को थोड़ा हार्ट इशू है और मैंने एक इंश्योरेंस ले रखा था, बट मुझे पता नहीं वो कवर्ड है कि नहीं, तो थोड़ा मदद कर सकते हो मेरा?
दुखी हूं कि आपकी मदर को हार्ट इशू है। मैं आपको मदद कर सकता हूं। पॉलिसी डिटेल्स चेक करने के लिए मुझे पॉलिसी नंबर और आपका नाम चाहिए होगा।
हाँ, मेरा पॉलिसी नंबर है STR7725।
धन्यवाद। वेरिफिकेशन के लिए अपना पूरा नाम बताएं।
राजेश शर्मा।
ठीक है राजेश जी, आपके पॉलिसी डिटेल्स चेक कर रहा हूं, 1 मिनट दीजिए।
ठीक है।
राजेश जी, आपकी पॉलिसी में हार्ट रिलेटेड कंडीशंस कवर्ड हैं। मैं आपको पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट और कैशलेस हॉस्पिटल लिस्ट व्हाट्सएप पे भेजे दूं? नंबर एंडिंग इन 9452।
यस, हाँ, भेज दीजिए प्लीज।
अच्छा, भेजे दिया है। क्या आपको इसके अलावा कुछ और मदद चाहिए? स्माइल।
हाँ, मतलब मेरे को ये जानना था कि मतलब प्रीमियम हर साल सेम रहता है, बढ़ जाता है?
प्रीमियम हर साल बदल सकता है राजेश जी। ये आपकी एज, हेल्थ कंडीशंस और प्लान फीचर्स पर डिपेंड करता है। मैं आपको प्रीमियम कैलकुलेशन का चार्ट व्हाट्सएप पे भेजे दूं? इससे आपको आइडिया ए जाएगा।
हाँ, ठीक है।
थैंक यू, वी गॉट द आइडिया।
स्टार हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की टीम हमेशा आपकी सेवा में तत्पर है।
थैंक यू।
Thank you, Saurav, for the wonderful presentation.
As I pointed out, अभी हिंदी में उसने क्या बोला, मैं दुखी हूँ। अभी आप कॉल सेंटर एजेंट होते थे तो इस तरह की बातें नहीं करते थे, इस तरह की यूजलेस बात, क्योंकि वो दिखता है कि वो रोबोटिक है। भी क्या है कि मतलब ठीक है, एजेंटिक वर्कफ्लो बना है, उसको सेल करो, बट ये ओवरली क्या है अराउंड की एम्पैथी है, इमोशन, ट्राई टू रियली डैम्पन इट डाउन। Right? It is a good marketing strategy. In the longer run, short run, it can really backfire. Okay, good work. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, jurors. Thank you for all our presenters of this innovation round. We wish you the best with the results. And jurors, thank you for being part of this innovation round. With your support and the feedback, what you have shared with in the portal, really helpful for the innovators. We would share them, the feedback. And a lot of engagement which has happened on LinkedIn, where a lot of people are still online and looking out for this forum. Firstly, how was your feedback to our jurors who have joined for the session? Dr. Anand, Dr. Gaurav, how was the feedback on this? How did you like the session?
I think, actually the problems are really interesting, which they are going to address. Actually, now what I find is mostly they are focusing on foreign market, maybe because of the economy. But I want them to focus on Indian market, Indian MSME, Indian startups, right? We need them. The rural sector need them. So for Indian economy to grow, rural sector needs a lot, because now you see, like, if nobody wants to. I mean, very few people are going to the rural ground. So although they have presented a lot of ideas, I think they need to do a lot of groundwork. They need to visit the actual rural farm village, spend time with them, and try to know what is the actual problem. So the idea is fine when there's emotion detection or language translation. So as an idea is very easy. But if when they go to the real ground, so many languages, more than 3,000 languages are there. Even if we say Hindi, there are many dialects of Hindi. So they should be able to address that. And as we have seen from the demo, it's very robotic. And now see that so many scams, call centers are there. Every day, even me, I get a lot of calls. So many people are falling victim of it. So unless we address this thing, it will be a big challenge when although the idea is good, but otherwise it's a very good initiative, and we need more. We need to encourage more startups, MSMEs, so that our economy can grow. But yeah, it's a very good initiative, and thank you for inviting me, and yes, and thank you for taking up such initiatives.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. Dr. Gaurav.
Yeah, hi, Gavin. So I really enjoyed the presentations that went through, and all of the presentations were different from each other, and great to see that they're working on exciting problems, and really enjoyed the interactions with them. And it's a great initiative. I hope more such initiatives are happening in future as well. So yeah, thank you for having me here, and happy to meet other jury members also. And it was great interacting with them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, your closing remark, okay, sir.
It was like very exciting and great to see some breakthrough innovations is happening. And I'm particularly impressed with Sovagen LLM India could really build. A lot of companies are coming forward. I could really see the real agentic AI which we have been talking, to see this magic and real action in front of you. That was really amazing. Thank you, Dr. Gaurav, Dr. Anand, for being part of this jury and evaluating, providing the comment and suggestion to this startup. Thank you so much, and thank you all the participants. So, Gavin, you can also announce if this will be live in the second session to all the joinees or who are attending from
Private session. It's more of our companies who will be participating. Just to highlight, the second session has been participated by some of the large firm from telecom players like Geos, Perpetuity, TCS. These kind of companies will be participating at the moment, and that's requested to be a private session. However, whenever we do public session, we will put up live on LinkedIn. Please do follow the page, Aegis Graham Bell Awards, for the people who are watching us live on LinkedIn. And